hope that you are all doing well. I have a couple of fun things to share. I have a really grungy journal that I made that was a lot of fun. I think grungy is my favorite thing to do. I don't, I try to do the other stuff, but the grungy I really love to do. This one here was actually a little inspired by something I saw on Pinterest. So that's where I kind of got the idea to do that. But I wanted to show you real quick these little, I made these little, just little grungy, old looking, these are those little composition notebooks. These are the ones that you get at the Dollar Tree, 3 for $1. That's where those come from. And anyway, what I did was I just really grunged these up. I did a little collaging on it. And then I went in, there's the back of this one. And I just kind of went in and just distressed. And here I split the pages on purpose and then put a little tape on it to just try to age it a little bit. Now I didn't do that on the other two, but I did. This was the first one I made. And I just was trying to get a little bit of aged look on it. You can kind of tell how it looks. But anyway, just wanted it to be an old looking, book is what I wanted it to do. And then this one here I made, this is a little Cupid here. And this came off of an old doily. And then here's another piece of that old paper doily. Excuse me. And then these numbers here I believe I got from Victoria Designs. And then again I just used some alcohol inks and sprayed a few of the pages just to give it a not alcohol inks, the distress sprays of Tim Holtz. I believe this was the vintage photo here that I sprayed. And I actually, oh, you know what? I take that back. It was the alcohol inks I used. And I actually diluted it with some water. I used the sepia alcohol inks and just diluted it in some water with a little spray bottle. I have the tiny, I think I have it right here as a matter of fact. Here's the bottle I used. I have this little tiny bottle, and that's what I did. I filled it up with the water pretty much all of the way, and then just put some daubs of that alcohol ink in there. And that's what I used to do the pages, to spray the pages. And then here's a little winter one. And I just, I've just kind of collaged the cover there with some different things. There's the back, and you can tell the snow has kind of been faded by the water. And then, of course, like I said, I sprayed the insides there just to give it a little, a little aged look. But anyway, I was just playing around with those little composition notebooks. I have quite a few of them because what I did was I couldn't find them for some time, and so when my Dollar Tree got them in, I bought several packs of them so I would just have them. Okay, so then I'm going to save the grunge for the last because it is my favorite. But this here is the Imagine by Stamperia that I used. I just used the 8x8. I bought an 8x8 and I bought a 12x12, but I only used the 8x8 in this. But this is just some craft textured cardstock. And I did end up Mod Podging the whole thing. I've actually glued the textured craft cardstock to some fabric. This is like some muslin here. And I tied it with some sari silk. I actually have a little brad here that I've run it through. A little eyelet that I've run it through my sari silk. And here is the back. like I said, I have just Mod Podged the whole thing. I did some stitching. I used some of the, just like the cream or, natural ecru looking thread. Is what I did. And then here's, I really love this Imagine paper. It just had such a mixed media flair to it. Really, really pretty. And then, like I said, I've just glued the cardstock, and this is bumped up. It is a textured cardstock. And then I just glued it. There is front and back here. I didn't want to put any pockets or anything here because it was already getting kind of chunky. And since I added the little flap, I wanted it to be sure and close. And I've added this as just a pocket. And I just stitched a little piece and glued it and stitched it for journaling. This here, I actually took a half of an envelope that I had coffee stained, and being creative and that kind of thing is what that Imagine is. Do what you love. I added some vintage lace here, and then since I draped that flap over from that envelope, I just stitched it down so that it would make a little tuck there that you could tuck, and that's just a little folded paper there. This is some bond paper. I did get some onion skin paper in the shop. I finally got my hands on some that wasn't too expensive. I tell you, I've been looking for onion skin paper, and some of it is just ridiculously high. But this is some bond paper. It's a little thicker than the onion skin. And then here I've just made a band, and I added a little tag there. Of course, you could add something on this side of it. And then just some music sheet there. This is one of the little pieces, and I just used it for a tab. And then this is an envelope, a glassine envelope, and there it is. And it has a little, looks a little weathered there. It has a little tear. Here is just the collage that I did on the back. This is just, I've added a couple of sheets there for journaling. And this here is, let's see if I've got something. This here is a little pocket right here. So you could, a little tuck spot, so you could add a little tag or something there if you wanted to. And then here is just a little pocket and a little place to journal. That bond paper there again. And this here is a little tuck, and I just added a little piece of journaling paper there. And then this is the same way. I've just added a little piece of journaling paper there. I kind of try to keep them both kind of the same height there. But I added some sari silk on this one. Just a little ruffle. There is just some collaging on this page, and did some more ruffling with the sari silk there. And this is that vintage lace. Another little tab made by one of the little cutouts. Here's another little tag. I love the mixed media look to this and feel to this. I just love it. Another glassine, or the other half of that glassine bag, and just made another little booklet. And then this is another little tuck here. So it's just like the other. You can tuck a little something there if you'd like to. Another one of the little tabs. And all the little tabs have these little dresses that are just so cute. It's almost like a paper collaged dress. They are absolutely adorable. And then another band with the, oh, and I think I just made this a tag. I kind of doubled the paper so it'd be a little thicker. And you could kind of journal on the back. And then here is the other half of the envelope that I told you, that I kind of just draped over the page and then I stitched it down is what I did. I just stitched it down to the page. But this here is actually a little pocket. If you wanted to put a little hidden something in, you could. And here is the back of that. And I just draped it over the page, and that's how I made that other one, and just had it as a little tuck. The last page, and I've just made that a pocket and another little place to journal there. And it just tucks in the pocket. So there is this little journal, and it was a lot of fun to make. Absolutely a lot of fun to do. And then of course I want to kind of show you so that if you have this, you can see this is kind of how I tied this. I just kind of rolled this one around, and then I turned around and rolled this one around, and that's just kind of how I tied that. Just kind of roll it around and get it where you can tie it. So there is that journal. That was a lot of fun, and I do love that paper. Absolutely love it. Okay, so this is my little grungy one that I loved, and I did purchase the download from, I believe it was Vintage by Me is what it's called on Etsy. I absolutely loved her collaged papers. So all the paper is from Vintage by Me. The tags here, I did use the walnut stain actually to spray on this bag to make it look so dark and so grunged. It is the walnut stain spray. So, and I sprayed it on the tags to make them have a little grungy look to them. Just used some of the paper there. Did quite a bit of stitching in this one. But the bag is one of the larger bags. I believe it's a few years ago I did the new paper bag style that I had come up with, and the bags were really big. I'm wanting to say it's an 18 by something. I'll put it in the description box is what I will do. But I used that bag, and what I did was I folded it up, and I may do a tutorial on it if I make another one of these. I actually folded the bag up to give it the pockets, because the pocket just goes all the way around, and then I had folded it in to make the size smaller, and I may do a tutorial on that because I would like to make another grunged book with the pockets, so I may do that or try to do that in the near future. But here is a couple of tags, same way I've just sprayed it with the walnut ink, and did some stitching. Here is some of that collaged paper. It's just gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. She did have a sale not so long ago and had her papers really pretty cheap. This here I have just used, that's just a little cutout from the collaged paper. I used one of the time cards. These are some vintage time cards I have, and just did a little stitching there. You can see where I've sprayed that walnut stain. And then here is just a little journaling paper. I did add a little masking tape there that I have distressed in some of that walnut stain, because I used it in the book some places. And there is that. These papers here, I think they are also from Vintage by Me, but I'm not totally sure about that. So this is just a pocket. Here is some of that paper. I did some different kind of stitching throughout this one, and I've just torn the pages. The pages are just torn. Here's some of that masking tape that I have just added in certain places. This is just some of that collage, or that paper collage, and I have just torn it, did some stitching, added an old vintage metal button there, some vintage lace. This here, I have just tore a piece of the paper off, kind of grunged it up a little bit. This is a damask bag, and I have just simply sprayed it with some of that walnut distress spray, and just did some decorative stitching on the pages. This here, I actually watched a video that Sagita had, and she was showing how she kind of coffee dyed or teeth dyed some paper and crumpled it all up and then let it air dry, and then after it's dry you just kind of smooth it out with your hand, and it gives you this real texture. That is actually what I tried, only I ironed mine so it would lay a little flatter, but I love the texture of it. It looks so grunged and old. I really like that. I've only done one just with a few papers trying it out, but I really do like it. Here is some of that paper right here, and I absolutely just love it. There I've just added a little half piece there. Here I've done some more with the masking tape there, added and grunged some of this crocheted, I believe this was like an Afghan, and then I just simply sprayed it to give it the grunge look. It's got a little button, vintage button there. Here's that paper, and I tried to do that on the back side of some of the papers. Here I've just added some collaging. Another piece there. And actually what I had done, I guess I should have said, was I have just sewn this on the page is what I did, so that it had a nice grungy backing to it, and that's how I got that that real crumpled paper. I actually sewed this to the crumpled paper is what I had done. And here's just some more collaging, some more of that distressed masking tape and crumpled paper. I love it. And here is just some more collaging. This is just such a cute collaged paper. It was just for me. When I saw it, I knew I had to go ahead and buy it and print it off. And here is another piece of that paper. I've just left it for a place to journal. Added a little collage sewing there. And then this is the other half of that time card, or the other part of it. I've just kind of sewed this on. And then here I've just made another little place for journaling there. And then of course that run across the bag. So anyway, this is my little grunge journal. This is my favorite because I really love the grunge. So anyway, guys, I hope that you enjoyed that. One quick note, I am going to try to do the ABC challenge, the alphabet challenge that Tina from Shabby Dabby Doodah is doing. And so I'm going to try to do that, and I think that'll be a lot of fun. I'm going to take that challenge on. So that's something to look forward to, guys, and I will catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching.